Hi, welcome back. Here we are again, trying again because the last time it didn't really work. We had a glitch here, Facebook Live in the middle of it. So I hope this time we make it through it and without any hassle. All right, so starting again all over. We had a member request a member question today, and it was all about how to balance your hormones naturally. And that's a super great question. I really love it, and thank you again for asking, because sooner or later all of us kind of face some hormone struggles, some earlier, some later in our life, and we want to know what's behind it. We want to know what we can do. And of course there are so many other things besides going seeing the doctor and taking prescription medication that we can do for hormonal health. And a little bit of background: before I offered the Metabolic Energy Reboot program, I worked with people on their hormonal health and on their thyroid health. So this is how I started out. And I have a hormone balancing program that's food-based that I still offer. It's on my website if you want to know more about it. Also drop a line below if you want me to point you in the right direction. And this program was super successful with my clients. They've seen great results, and that's why I still use it and I still work with it to this day. And so what's behind all that? So let me just tell you, looking at hormonal health and how to balance hormones, there are very many components to it, because hormones are a complex construction in the body that serve really important purposes. And most people think about hormones only when it comes to female hormones, right? The female cycle and the regulation of it. Yes, that's a big aspect, and I see a lot of people, a lot of women who are in perimenopause or menopause and struggle with these hormonal imbalances. But hormonal health is not just that. All of us have hormones, also men have hormones, right? And we will have hormones our entire life. So balancing our hormones is always a good idea, no matter what age we are and what phase of life we're in. If we have some kind of a hormonal imbalance, and that also pertains to blood sugar instability, for example, cortisol, insulin, those are hormones as well, right? And that's also important for men to know. It's not just all about the female hormones. So we need to balance those or keep those in check our entire life. So doing a balancing program, or actually incorporating a lifestyle with the right habits for hormonal health, is always a good idea, no matter where you are right now in your life. All right, let's talk about how that can look like, because as you know, I'm not emphasizing medications. That's not my area of expertise. I'm a holistic nutritionist. So I focus on foods that help us stabilize hormones, and also lifestyle aspects. And the biggest issues here for hormonal instability or hormonal, roller coaster is what I see is food, is stress, and is sleep. So going back to those pillars, those are all the foundation for the Metabolic Energy Reboot program. So because it is super important that all of these things are in check and are not out of whack. Because if they are, then our hormones struggle. So those are the three biggest areas. There are other things as well, but those are the ones that we can influence greatly, and actually it's all on us to influence these areas, because ultimately what we eat is our decision. Ultimately, how stressed we are or how stressed we allow ourselves to get can also be influenced by us greatly. And again, sleep, there are lots of things we can do to promote better sleep and healthier sleep. And again, it comes down to habits and lifestyle, right? So those are the three aspects. Now, there's another one that is very important to know about, and that is toxicity, toxins. So we know that toxins in our environment, and cleaning products and cosmetics and plastics and packaging, all of these materials contain hormone disrupting substances. And there are a few already where there is quite a bit of scientific research behind it. Others are just being studied more extensively right now. And I don't know if you've seen it. There was an article today or yesterday on CBC about plastics and cosmetics and PFAS. Those are the chemical compounds in the cosmetics that they're studying now, because they found that it has an accumulative effect in the body, and the body doesn't get rid of it, and it can really wreak havoc with hormones. So this is something we will learn much more about in the coming years. I'm pretty sure of it. But there's a lot we can do already about avoiding too many toxic exposures in our life, and that has to do again with our behavior in what we buy and how we buy certain things in terms of packaging, also in terms of cosmetics, right? What are we putting on our body on a regular basis? What are the cleaning products we use, right? What are the substances we come in contact with? To a degree we can influence it, not as much as we would like to, because the environment is full of toxins that we can't really influence. But at least being aware of it and making an effort to reduce exposure is something that we can do and should do when it comes to hormonal health. So those are basically the big concepts behind hormonal health. And just to get back to the food component, food is super powerful if you use it correctly, and I'm talking about whole foods diet. So we're not talking about processed foods, junk foods, these types of things. No, we're talking about whole foods that you use with a certain method and also in a certain way that can greatly benefit hormonal health, because it contains the building blocks that your body needs to manufacture these hormones. And coming back to female hormones, right, you know that our hormones fluctuate depending on where we are in our cycle, and our body has different needs at certain times to make different hormones in that quantity that's required. And if we're not having enough of these nutrients, then the body struggles to get the materials, right? We can picture it as like a construction site, right? You want to build the foundation, and you need poles, and the poles haven't been delivered, right? So you can't continue, right? And that's sort of like the same idea. The body wants to produce certain hormones and can't, because it's missing the building blocks. So we can make sure that at least we're putting everything in our mouth that our body needs, right? So that's what the whole foods-based program is about, to make sure that you get all the nutrients that you need to balance the hormones. And then the body does the rest, right? Magically, we don't need to do much more than that. We provide what we can provide, we provide the supplies, right? And then we let the body do its magic. And for some people, that's really all it takes. There's not much intervention, not any other intervention necessary. For some, it's not enough, right? But then we can build on top of that. This is really the foundation that everyone should have in place. And then we build on top of that with whatever other measure we need to take in order to balance the hormones, so that we're not dependent on just medication and hormonal regulation from the outside, because our body is capable of doing it all by itself. That's how we're designed, and we want to maintain this as best as we can. This is really my approach with all I do, with all my courses, with all my clients. Let's focus on what we can do and what we can influence, and let's make sure we get our habits in check, and let's focus on the right things to do, and then we'll see how much our body is already able to regulate itself. And it's so powerful to see what our bodies are actually capable of, right, if it's been supported in the right way. All right, I hope that was helpful, and I do encourage you to look always first at natural solutions to balance your hormones before you resort to any other measures, because it's not that complicated, it's not that difficult either. And if you need to take additional measures on top of that, then go ahead and do that. That's perfectly fine, no shame in that, but make sure your foundation is working properly. All right, so have a great day, and let me know in the comments below if you have any other questions. Post them in the group, because Wednesdays I'm here for you and I answer all your questions and I help you figure out what you're trying to work on and figuring out for yourself. All right, so don't be a stranger. Make sure you like this, make sure you share this, and make sure you see it by turning on your notifications and adding the group to your favorites. This way you don't miss out on this, and I will see you again next week. Bye-bye.